Jill Blue from the Four-Eyed Frog joining us. Jill, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jill, tell us a little bit about your involvement with Four-Eyed Frog. You're the manager of the bookstore. Tell us a little bit about that, how you got started, what your job is there.
Um, I'm basically Joel's replacement now that Joel has retired and left the area. I was originally hired in the summer of 2020. Um, and that year, because of COVID, there were a lot of changes, a lot of things going on. It was Joel's intent to retire at that point, but thankfully he decided not to. And he stuck around for a couple of other years because I would not have been ready for him to leave at that point. But he taught me a lot about how to manage a bookstore and what it entails. And I like to think that I'm doing a decent job at this point. But I do all of the ordering, plan on all the sidelines, the puzzles, the games, the extra things that we sell, as well as the books.
Fantastic. And the bookstore recently moved into a new space. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the complex, Cypress Village, was purchased by a general contractor a couple years ago, and he made a few changes, and our rent was actually being subsidized by the previous owner, and the current owner continued that. So we had a really good deal on our rent. But as I'm sure a lot of people know, independent bookstores don't exactly make a lot of money.
Right,
We
right.
wanted to stay in business. The landlord, however, wants to retire, and so he increased our rent to fair market value, and it more than doubled.
Okay.
We were able to negotiate a gradual increase, so each quarter we're paying a little bit more. But because of the rent increase, he offered us a chance to move to a more visible location. Because up where we were, we had a lot of people that they said they couldn't find us, or they had trouble finding us, or it was
Right.
difficult to get to.
And how's that new space been? Uh, I I heard that you guys pulled off the move like in record time to get everything from the old location to the new one. How has that been for you?
It has been very good. It took a lot of planning to figure out where each bookcase would go and make sure that each genre had enough book space and figure out all the logistics. We were able to plan it down pretty much to every last detail. We pulled off the move in 2 days, and the last hour or so of the second day, we even made a couple of sales once the computers were hooked up.
Right. That's great. Tell some of our viewers about how many titles, and I know you have more than books also, but as far as books, about how many titles do you normally have on hand, have in your inventory?
Um, when we moved, we had about 6,000 books,
Hmm.
a couple thousand like cards and other assorted items. I would say probably 75 to 80% of our customer base
Hmm.
would be visitors to our area.
Really?
Um, a large number of that would be people that they come to our area once or twice a year,
Hmm.
and they make part of their regular trip a visit to the Frog.
Wow.
And it's kind of surprising. But yeah,
Yeah.
not that many locals.
No, I would have guessed it was more local residents and fewer out of towners. But well,
No,
that's nice that you have a following of people who, when they come here, they always stop by.
it is definitely.
Yeah.
But because they are visiting the area, I've noticed that political, self-help, personal growth,
Hmm.
memoirs, kind of the more serious things
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
sell as well. Like for political and memoirs, if they don't sell in the first month after release, they're not going to.
Not happening. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
People want things that are more lighthearted, kind of beach reads,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to read for fun.
Gotcha. Yeah, I understand that if you're here on a vacation or holiday or whatever, you kind of want to relax. We all seem to have enough um, difficult things on our minds and on the screens in front of us every day these
Exactly.
days. And I think everybody needs a little bit of an escape, no matter who you are. Yeah.
So true.
Tell me about the non-book items. There's a lot of kids stuff and games and puzzles and describe all of that to me, the stuff that's not books.
We do have puzzles anywhere from, little kid puzzles of like 15 to 30 pieces up to 1,500 pieces.
Wow.
I typically order from a different company each time I order, so there's kind of a rotating stock.
Okay.
So I know some people are partial to Ravensburger or others like Springbok or stuff like that. So I kind of rotate so we don't have the same design, the same co puzzle company all the time. We have a large variety of board games, the old standards, like Scrabble and Monopoly and Clue,
Yeah.
uh, as well as some of the more, some of the popular ones with the younger crowd these days.
Right.
And then we have socks. We have Four-Eyed Frog merchandise with hats and t-shirts.
So tell me a little bit about kind of the store is now organized as a nonprofit organization. Is that correct?
Actually, it isn't.
Oh, it isn't.
We've
Okay, I'm
been
sorry.
we've been batting that idea around. There are a couple people on the board that would love it to become a nonprofit,
Hmm.
and there are others that think it's a lot of work for not much benefit.
Hmm.
So it's something that we're still discussing.
Okay.
I would really like us to become one just so that donations to the store could be tax deductible. Um, but for right now, it isn't. Independent
Okay.
bookstores aren't generally for profit, but
Yeah.
we're making it
Yeah.
for right now.
Okay. So you're a business just like any other business in town, pretty much.
Yes.
You you sell stuff and you hope to make money doing it.
Well, hope to at least stay in business. We
Yeah.
don't really. I mean, when the community banded together and purchased the store, it was about 20, 21 people that did it.
Hmm.
And none of them did it because they wanted to make money on an investment.
Right.
It
Right.
it was because they knew the value of a bookstore in a community and they wanted to keep us there.
Yeah.
And so making money isn't really the strong part of it. They
Mm.
just wanted the store to be there. But with our rent increase, I'm doing everything I can to try to spread the word about the frog, to get more customers, to have different events and activities there, just to try to
Right.
bring in more people, more business, so that we can stay in business.
Right. You've alluded to that several times. Without prying on the all the details, financial details of the business. So how would you characterize the financial place of the business right about now?
Um, Ever since we moved, sales have gone up roughly
Okay.
2% every month, except the last couple of weeks it has dropped dramatically, and I'm not sure why that is.
Interesting. Okay.
So if we can maintain that energy and keep the sales up that much, I think we have a good chance of staying in business.
Okay.
But if it gets to a point where, I mean, like right now with politically, with the tariffs being threatened, a lot of the companies that we get our sidelines, the puzzles, the games, the things like
Mm,
that. A lot of them ended up raising their rates. And
okay.
so a couple of the owners contributed some extra money so that we could buy some of those things to get us through Christmas at the cheaper prices. Uh,
Right.
but the business has to make enough money to pay them back for that.
Right.
Uh, and another thing that is an uncertainty for us is a lot of our books are printed in China.
Yeah.
When they are shipped back over, they're considered educational materials, and so they are not hit by the tariffs. However,
Okay.
a lot of our paper and ink also comes from China. So that stuff is not exempt and it will be taxed. So any of the publishing companies in the States are going to be hit by those higher tariffs. And so higher book prices
Oh,
are likely to be coming because of that.
I'm guessing most folks that would have never occurred to, you know.
Exactly.
I just thought they just keep printing books like they've always printed books, but the whole publishing industry is certainly being touched by tariffs, and that means you're affected by tariffs, like it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, and and the bookstore is it's not like you have a warehouse somewhere full of books and games and toys, so
No.
that you can just stock up all this stuff and sell it. Uh, your inventory is what's there in the store.
We do have one storage room and there, certain things like, the stuffed characters in the games and
Okay.
do have
Yeah.
some stock in that back room, but
Yeah.
you're right. The pretty much for the books, what's on the shelf is what we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, the beauty of that is we do place orders frequently and
Okay.
order has to be sent in by noon. But if our warehouse in Oregon has it in stock, we'll have it the next afternoon.
Oh, that's pretty
So
good.
you order a book on Monday at 11:30, you'll have it in your hands Tuesday afternoon.
So a customer can come in and let's say they heard about some book, maybe they read about it in a paper or they heard about it on television or they saw a review of it somewhere and they think, geez, I'd like to buy that book. Um, a lot of people, as you're well aware, simply go on Amazon and you can click the book and
Uh-huh.
you get it in a day or two, depending on the book and where it's at and everything. But I can do the same thing with you all, right?
You could.
If I come in the morning, I'll have the book, and not you're not guaranteeing it every time, but often I can have the book the next day.
Right.
That's
Yeah, if you come
fantastic.
in on a Friday, then you're not going to get it till the next week. So
Well,
that's the one problem. But
yeah, yeah.
yes, we can often be faster than Amazon. As
Eric, you've alluded to this also that independent bookstores, I don't know if you said across the country, but I think you mean across the country, have all struggled to stay afloat.
Mhm.
Certainly, the pandemic did not. The pandemic made it extremely difficult, not just for bookstores, but every business and everything. Um, Talk a little bit about the importance and the danger of losing independent bookstores.
Um, Amazon and the big box stores, Costco having,
Hmm.
the newer releases. Places like that are really shutting down a lot of the independent bookstores.
Hmm.
And the independent stores are usually a little more quirky. You're going to find books there that you don't see every place else. If you walk into a Barnes and Noble, you pretty much know what's going to be there.
Right.
There aren't a lot of surprises. But the independent stores are, they're actually managed and run. The other employees are people that love to read. They enjoy being there. They enjoy people. They've got their own interests and their own, genres that they prefer. And so they're going to suggest books that, you may not have ever heard of that author or something. And so I think you're going to get away from some of the mainstream authors, which are great, but there's a lot of others that people have never really heard of that have fantastic books out there. And I think going to an independent store, you have more of a chance of finding some of those quirky, kind of eclectic, interesting tales.
Plus, if you go to an independent bookstore, say more than once,
Mm,
you'll see the same folks working there,
right.
from, pretty much, and you can actually talk to somebody who doesn't just operate a cash register. They actually
Hmm.
they care about books and they're many times passionate about books and they want to help you find the book that you're going to enjoy a lot too. Um, I don't know that ever happens. Nothing against Costco or anything, but I don't believe that happens at Costco. Um,
Probably not.
yeah, nothing against Costco, but yeah, you're not going to have a personal connection with the book lover who happens
Right.
to be the owner or the manager or an employee of a independent bookstore. Yeah, that's really great.
There's nothing I love more than having a customer come in and say, "Oh, you recommended this book to me when I was last here a few months ago, and it was fantastic. I just loved it." And to realize that through a recommendation, I have touched somebody and had them experience something that I had also experienced reading the book. I truly love doing that.
Yeah, and there's something. I think there's something about. I think many of us have had the experience in our life, hopefully more than once, where we read a book and it really perhaps it made us think about our own life. It impacted us in such a way that our that we grew. Maybe it didn't radically change our lives, but we grew, and the book affected us in that way. I think a lot of people can point to that experience, and I think
Right.
I think the independent bookstore is probably a place where you're going to increase your chances of finding the book that's really going to have an impact on you and bring you something good to your life
I
that maybe you
agree.
there's something that you necessarily weren't expecting, but it happened. Jill, tell our viewers here what can they do? What would you like them to do? What should they do? I think they're big. They've heard from you the importance of independent bookstores. Um, People need to come in and patronize the bookstore. Isn't that pretty much it?
Yes, we would love to have them come. The more people that come in, the better,
Right.
obviously. And, we're there also just to support the community for whatever they need. Having more customers, getting especially the local people out to the store, having people attend our events,
Right.
is huge. I've had some of the author events when maybe two people showed up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've had some where 40 people show up.
Okay. Yeah. Jill, thank you so much for enlightening us and sharing with us your own experience and the role that Four-Eyed Frog has in our community. And I certainly want to encourage viewers to stop if they haven't been there or they haven't been to the bookstore in a while to stop back in. And I was amazed to find out I can get many books in a day. I didn't know that. And I'd rather spend my money locally if there's any way to do it. And
Thank you.
you've just given us a way to do that. Another way to do that.
We would appreciate that, and any donations to help us stay in business are also appreciated.
Yeah,
So anything anybody is willing to do, we will take.
fantastic. Jill, thank you so much for your
You're
time.
welcome.